And welcome, Sahara. So good to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Carolyn. I'm excited to chat.
So tell us, we're going to talk about travel coaching, but tell us a little bit about you and your journey and how you got started in travel coaching and what this has been like for you over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I see everyone coming in from all over the place. So I'm calling in from my hometown in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I started my journey in travel coaching. It goes back to in 2010. I graduated with a degree in hospitality and tourism management in Chicago. And I could have easily taken any job in that big city in hospitality or tourism. There's a lot of opportunities, but what I learned about and heard about didn't resonate with me. I didn't want to go the corporate route. Always been someone who struggled with anxiety, and I was experiencing bouts of depression at the time. So I was like going into an office and sitting there and having someone dictate when I could and couldn't take a vacation was not going to be something that fed my happiness, right? It's going to feed my unhappiness. So I had always heard about something called backpacking Europe. So I figured, well, I'm going to just take this month and a half off. I've graduated from school and I'm going to just backpack Western Europe. I'll come home and I'll figure out my life from there. And like many of us, I got bit by the travel bug. I was realizing what travel was doing for me, my soul, my mental well-being, everything. And I kept on going. Ended up traveling for the next 10 years on and off. I'd come back home for the holidays, see my mom, repack because I'd go from warm climate to cold or cold to warm. And I went to over 84 countries, as you can see some of my photos behind me, some incredible places in this world. And I was just a budget backpacker. I didn't ever work while I traveled. And I say I traveled during a really prime time in the travel industry. There was a rise in travel technology and the rise of social media and the influence that social media had on the travel industry. So I was now exposed to others who were working in different jobs or just heard about different opportunities in travel, like travel influencing or blogging or travel writing or whatnot. But still nothing resonated with me. I said, I don't want to plan and book trips. My anxiety disorder does not allow that to happen, even though I have experience doing so. I didn't want to work in hotels. I was never interested in working in hotels. I have a fear of flying, so I didn't want to live on a plane and be a flight attendant. And I didn't enjoy writing about travel, and I didn't align with being an influencer. I said there has to be something more that I could do with all of this knowledge and passion for travel that I have. And I gave myself to the time that I was 30 years old and 30 came about. And that was the first time I bought a laptop, traveled with it, opened it up in the north of Spain, started Googling how to start an online business, came onto the coaching industry and saw how much it was booming in life, business, wellness coaching, all these types of coaching. And I said, that's it. I want to be a travel coach. And that was in 2018. I founded my wellness travel coaching business. And then early 2019.
Oh, I think you just got
I
muted, but
started
you're back.
in
Yeah.
early 2019, I started the Travel Coach Network from there.
Yeah. And so I wrote an article about this, and I am a big fan of coaching. I've always been a fan of coaching. It has helped me in so many areas of my life and my career to figure out, where to focus my energy and what my values are and all kinds of things. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about this tonight, to maybe explain a little bit about what coaching is and also what is travel coaching and maybe what is it not. So, and by the way, everyone just put questions in if we don't get to this, but there's kind of maybe a perception that travel coaching involves booking travel. So I want to get that out of the way right away.
Yeah, absolutely. So primarily, well, when you hear someone has a travel business, it keeps saying host is muting me. So I don't know what's happening there. I'm unmuted now. Your mind automatically goes to you must be a travel agent, right? Like the travel industry, if you have a travel business, has very been prone to travel agents, travel advisors, and the evolution of that term. But in the world of travel coaching, under the definition of the Travel Coach Network, because there are other definitions, so travel coaches who coach other agents can call themselves that. But in the TCN, travel coach is someone who doesn't focus on the booking phase of a trip. Instead, we help people set intentions for their trip, bring awareness to why they want to travel and get away. And with that awareness and those intentions, they can make better travel planning decisions, like where to go, who to go with, what kind of experiences you should have based on whatever outcomes or goals that they have in mind. It's about using travel as a tool or vessel or medium for things like transformation, healing, self-discovery, clarity, and all of these underlying motivations of why we turn to travel in the first place. Because everyone here, I'm pretty sure, believes in the power that travel can have on us, whether it's our mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah, well said. And I just want to launch a little poll here for everybody because we want to get a handle on what you're interested in as we go through this webinar. So the first question is, are you interested in being a travel coach or having a travel coach? And then the second one is, are you a traveler, a tour operator, a travel agent? And recognizing, I think this is a win-win for everybody because, you know, women who have a lot of travel experience and want to help other women and empower other women. And maybe there are women that just need help. I mean, the world of travel is so overwhelming. Sometimes there are so many choices. I know myself, I was looking last night at a world map going, where do I want to go next? And some of the questions you would ask in coaching, I would think would help all of us focus a little bit more and make sure we're going down the right path.
Yeah, absolutely. What I talk about in the world of travel coaching is what I call destination or experience matching. So when we think about how traditional travel planning goes about, it's where do you like to go? What do you like to do? How many people? What's your time frame? What's on your bucket list? What type of places you generally go to? And all of those typical questions we hear. But when it comes to travel coaching, it's really about understanding the traveler's individual needs. We're a different person every single time we travel, every time we go on a trip, right? There's a different motivation of why we want to get away. What are we looking for? What's happening in our lives at that moment? And what do we want to feel? And so by reverse engineering it, you get to understand that the traveler, the client, as an individual, and then say, well, based off of what I understand and know about you, here's some suggestions. Maybe you need more time in nature. Therefore, these are some destinations that allow a lot of nature or immersing into the local culture, or maybe it is a place where they can get out of their comfort zone a little bit more, and that's what they're in need of. Maybe it is trying something new. Maybe it is being around other like-minded individuals. Maybe they are a remote worker and they want some place where they can try some new culture, but then also be with some familiar faces and, you know, maybe some masterminds or workshops in town. There's so many different types of places in this world. And like you said, it's very overwhelming. There are 5 jillion blogs about travel and platforms and itineraries and everything out there. So if travel coaching reverses how travel planning comes about.
Yeah, I love it. So our poll says that 97% of the people on this call are looking for information on how to become a travel coach, and 85% are travelers, with the remaining folks being tour operators, travel agents, or others. So I think we can say safely that we should really focus tonight on the process of how do you become a travel coach and get into some of the detail on that. So let's start with a little bit of the process, and maybe you could talk a little bit about coaching in general. And I know from my own experience, there are a lot of tools that you learn going through a coaching certification, but just enlighten us on that.
Yeah, so we're alluding to what we have is the Travel Coach Certification Program. It is accredited by the International Coach Federation, so the gold standards of the coaching industry. And we did that on purpose because we want to make sure that the content, the information, the resources, the qualifications that we're giving our travel coaches are of the highest standards. So in the world of travel coaching, we learn about active listening, empathy, accountability, effective communication, all of these fundamentals of coaching, and figuring out how can you apply that to helping people have a more transformative, meaningful travel experience. And that's the epitome of what we do in travel coaching.
So give us a scenario maybe of a woman who comes to you and doesn't know what she wants, how would you handle that as a travel coach?
Yeah, so for an example, well, first of all, travel coaches focus in so many different types of niches or area of expertise, right? I don't
Mm,
necessarily like to say niche because I don't believe that you necessarily need to niche all the way down. If you understand the pain points of your ideal client, you can broaden your customer base that way. But let's say just niche. So let's say it's you are working with a client and she is a busy professional woman. She recently lost her grandmother, who she was really close with. She is nearing burnout because all she does is dedicate her time to her job, and she's done this for years. And she just is at this place in her life where she just wants to put herself first finally. So being able to understand those different things about her, that she's probably looking for a journey that is going to entail some healing and some wellness, some self-care in there. She's grieving loss, and she needs to disconnect, right? She is focused all the time on her work, and she needs some time away from that. She needs some time to self-reflect on where her values are and what's more important for her. So based off of those things that we understand, maybe a place like Bali or someplace where there's a lot of nature, a lot of spirituality, a lot of local culture that can really enrich her. Yet there's also a community of like-minded people, because there's a lot of other travelers there and a lot of other solo travelers there who she can meet and connect with as well. So being able to identify that maybe a place where there's a lot of culture and nature is a place where someone can spend time alone. They can go on their own spiritual journey. They can heal and have their own journey of wellness that way. They can disconnect, but then they can also have that community of like-minded individuals.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of Bali.
Yeah, right.
I went right there. I'm like, I'm there. And how long does this process of travel coaching take? Like once you start working with a client, what's the structure of the coaching, and how often do you do it? And just walk us through that process time.
That's a great question. It really is up to the individual coach. What I say is that just because travel coach is in, or coach is in the term travel coach, does not mean that you need to work one-on-one with individuals. You can structure your business however you want. So that's one of the things that we focus on in the program is helping you figure out, how do you want to work with people? What do you want to do? Do you want to work with individuals? Do you want to work in a group setting? Maybe community is something that's really important, and you think that people can hold each other accountable. You want shared experiences. Maybe it's virtually, or actually we have travel coaches who run group tours and they just incorporate travel coaching into that. So she goes on the tours with them as groups, because that's important for her. And that's where she found the most value in experiences. And so am I answering your question?
Yeah.
I see different questions popping up here. So it really depends on what it is that you want to do and how you want to structure your business. When it comes to helping someone figure out where they should travel, then it's probably going to take more than just one coaching session. What I see a lot of my coaches doing is they create coaching packages and offers. And so again, that is completely up to you on what you want to do in your coaching business. So depending on the outcome, the transformation, the experience that you're helping your client obtain, reverse engineer that and say, what steps do they need to take in order to achieve that? And that can help you figure out what kind of offer, how many sessions should I have, and whether there's going to be a community aspect or accountability aspect, or maybe pushing them outside their comfort zone and with assignments aspect, whatever that might look like. And that's something we work with you in the program on.
So when you're learning as a travel coach, and I'm just relaying my experience when I was learning to be a coach, and this is, almost 10 years ago, you practice on other coaches, that's what we did. We would practice on each other, and we would try things out on each other. And sometimes it can be just as powerful for the person becoming the coach as it is for the person being coached. Do you ever find that?
Yeah, we offer a lot of opportunities for, I bring in guest coaches because there's so many different types of coaching techniques out there. So we want people to find one that works for them, and then being able to practice with one another. That connection that you get within the program is people do their own one-on-ones together so they can practice and figure out, what works for them, what they enjoy. But it's that practice. When it comes to coaching, it is all about practice, right? We need that confidence, and you're going to feel uncomfortable the first time. You're going to be doubting yourself. You're going to have all of this imposter syndrome. But just like any business that you run, you need to implement, evolve, make changes, learn, grow, and that's what you're going to do by by practicing, and also by working with your clients.
Yeah. So the program that you have, my understanding is it's online. And how long does it take to go through it?
Yeah. So yes, our program is self-paced. It is 9 modules. We designed it to be self-paced because everyone, one, has different lifestyle, different things going on. And 2, everyone learns at their own pace and different styles. So we have a combination of written content and video content in every module and lesson for people because we all learn differently. When it comes to how long does it take, for those who choose the payment plan option, that is stretched out over 4 months. So your content gets stretched out to you over 4 months. If you do choose the pay in full option by request via email or message, all the modules can be released. And so what we've seen people do who do pay in full is you can get it finished within like a month or 2, and watch some of the replays in our replay cabin, join our lives within that month, and attend one of our practice coaching sessions, and you can be certified.
That's great. Let's see if we have any questions. I just want to check in and see if there's any questions. There's a question here. Do you have a questionnaire that is used? From Phyllis.
Questionnaire for like an intake form, or a questionnaire of what type of questions?
I was curious to pull all the criteria, and then I had a second question. And do you have any AI filter for the back? Because there's a myriad of possible things, like your example with the women going through grief. I could right away think of 50 great locations to use AI to filter.
Yeah, absolutely. So one, yes, we offer, or we provide a wide range of types of questions to ask your clients. So you can choose and customize your own intake forms, which we have examples of that. And then yes, AI is a great tool to implement and ask very specific scenarios and pop out some transformative experiences and destinations based off of your ideal client's specific needs and desires. Like I mentioned about grief and loss and burnout and all of that.
But what I'm asking really is, do you have the database that offers the AI, like that I would plug in something and you offer the database for the search of the different opportunities?
You can use ChatGPT. It is free, and it's a great tool to use with that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
There's a question about how do you find clients?
So it's just like any business. You need to know your marketing, and to be able to establish a good marketing strategy. Marketing is strategy. So you need to know who your ideal client is specifically. What are their pain points? You need to know what is your core messaging? What are you talking about? What do you believe so deeply in that you want others to believe in and know as well? And who needs to hear that? Where do those people hang out? Where are you going to find them? What social platforms do they pay attention to, listen to, read, attend? Are there organizations and associations that have them? Groups and communities, networks that have them? What publications do they read? What podcasts do they listen to? Marketing, there are so many different options, and we go through this in all the marketing strategy of how you can reach your ideal clients. And it's about attracting them with the right messaging and the different types of content. But in order to know what to post, where to post, how to post, you need to build a solid foundation for your business first. And that involves your values, your core message, your ideal client. And your brand story is key to that as well. And we go through all of that for you.
Yeah, there's so many things that you've said. I just want to comment on, like, first of all, we as women, being able to tell our story as travelers and as women and as change makers is so important just on its own. And then one of the things I love about what we do at JourneyWoman and women's travel is is I just feel it's so important for women to get out there and travel. And what we see now is a lot of fear. And I think that's too bad because, you know, we have great resources here at JourneyWoman, obviously our editorial, our website, our private group, and all of that. But I think, you know, I personally think the more women that are out and discovering themselves and discovering the world, that is just better for everybody. So, so that's why I think, you know, this is so important. Because there is a question here about, you know, how do you advise someone who has to go to a place that you haven't been to? Because I think we always worry that we should be giving firsthand experiences as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about even when you talk about a place that you've been to, everyone's experience is different. I know from my own personal experience, when I was traveling, the places that people would gloat about, I would get there and I'm like, I don't like it. They're honestly some of my least favorite destinations because I'm not them. And what I'm looking for is not what they were looking for. So in the world of travel coaching, that's why it's really important to understand that individual. So if you don't need to travel to 84 countries to be a travel coach, to be a travel agent, to do anything in the travel industry. You need to have a passion and understanding of travel to some degree. What has travel done for you? Why are you so passionate about it? And what do you believe in about it? So like we were just mentioning, tools like ChatGPT, but by understanding the technique of understanding your client on a deeper, more personal level, by understanding their specific pain points that really are the decision makers that could be the decision makers for where they go and what they do, you plug that in to your research. And your research could be Googling, it could be ChatGPT, it could be other forums and communities, it could be from other coaches. Hey, I have a client who is, you know, a busy mom and she's going to take a solo trip and she's now an empty nester and she is on a career break. She wants to figure out where to go. And then you can use your community to figure that out as well. There's a lot of tools and resources to figure out or help people figure out where to go and what to do. But what matters most is really understanding that client and their specific needs and wants, desires, and goals.
Yeah. And when it comes to how to structure this as a business, do you suggest that women set up a business or do it on the side? And if so, is there any liability? How does that work?
Yeah, so if you're going to run any business, you should set up an LLC. You should have it, you know, if you're going to be generating any sort of income. When it comes to liability, travel coaches under the Travel Coach Network are not travel agents by training. With that said, there are many travel agents, advisors who have come in to combine that. So their training and their liabilities and their logistics of travel agents come from whatever agencies and hosts that they get certified or accredited by. That's not what we do. We don't train you as a travel agent. Because you're not dealing with the booking phase of the trip, there's limited liability. When it comes to maybe recommending insurance or something like that, you have to make it just like any business. You make it very clear what in your agreements or your contracts with your clients, what your role is, what your responsibilities are, what their responsibilities are, what their role is. And even if there's suggestions, that's on them to go with that affiliate that you have recommended them to when it comes to insurance or even a travel agent. So making it very clear in your contract can help you with that.
Yep. And do you provide those tools in terms of, you know, how to set up a business and that kind of thing? Templates and invoicing or anything like that?
We do not do how to set up a business. Because we have people from 40 plus countries around this world and setting up a business looks different everywhere. We can provide resources and point you in the right direction on where to find that for yourself. We do provide sample contracts and agreements that as templates. When it comes to invoices, we can provide that as well too.
Yeah. A couple other questions here. The 9 modules that you talked about, how many hours does each module take is a question.
Yeah, so the whole program itself is 40 hours. So you get 40 CCE hours through ICF, the International Coach Federation. So every module combined with 5 live trainings equals 40 hours. So how you divide that up is up to you. So every module is a little bit different. They're going to range between 6 minutes up to like 15 minutes, depending on that module and the content.
Yeah. And is questions about, does travel coaching end after the trip, or does it still go on during the trip or after?
Yeah. I mean, that's the foundation of coaching, right? If there's that support, that accountability aspect. So that's up to you how you want to structure that with your client, depending on what their needs are, what you're helping them achieve. And so we give you some examples of what you could do to support that, whether that's assignments, whether that is communication via email or Voxer or Zoom calls, whether that you now move them into a community aspect that you have where they can now connect with others, and then they can access you that way. When it comes to the post-trip implementation is one of the biggest pieces when it comes to coaching, right? When we help people go on trips, you're just not like sayonara and have a great time. What do they learn? What do they experience? And how can they apply that to who they are, to their life when they return home, to their work life? So again, understanding who they are and what they need in the beginning can help you figure out how to help them implement what they learn and experience during their trip, post-trip.
Yeah, and you're ultimately creating more mindful travelers, I think, as well, because you're actually I assume, creating tools to help the traveler when they're traveling, whether it's journaling or photography or whatever it is that's helping record and really think about the experience of the trip and not just, check a box.
Yeah, being present is key, and that's the epitome of mindful travel. Being present in your surroundings and what you hear, what you feel, and everything. So yeah, you're spot on.
So there's a few questions here on how you charge, whether it's a package or hourly. How does it generally work? Because I'm sure there's lots of different variations.
Yeah, there really are. And this is a popular question that I get, but someone who runs over 540 members in our certification program, it's hard to give you one answer of what people charge. And the reason for that is because, like I said before, there are people from other roles who come in to combine travel coaching with what they do and how they structure their business. So we have retreat leaders, travel agents, tour operators, and coaches of different degrees. We have medical experts as well, psychologists and whatnot. So what we say when it comes to what to charge and how to charge or what to price yourself at, it depends on one, how many times are you working with your client? How much of you are you giving to them? How much are you going to create that can be a digital product, something that is more passive. So if you find yourself teaching or talking about the same thing over and over again to your clients, or if there is an onboarding process or anything that could be kind of cookie cutter that you can create into a digital product of some sort, that's going to remove more of you and your time, which would lessen your amount. But that direct help that you give them, and that's including during the trip and post-trip, or even in a community aspect, a group trip, or a group coaching session, you're going to charge for that. So again, everyone has different sort of packages. Some offer a 1-week package. Some people work with their clients 6 months before their trip. So there's not one price that I can give you. When it comes to pricing in general for any sort of business, you're going to find a price, try it, see how you feel about it. You kick yourself that, darn, this is taking me more work and more effort and more value than I should have, then you'll learn and you're going to evolve and you're going to change that. It's something I've experienced through all of what I do in both of my businesses. And that's the advice that I give to coaches and business owners as a whole.
Yeah, there's a question here about charging to research a trip. I don't think that's part of what you're talking about, right? You're not, as a travel coach, going out and doing research or helping with trip planning or anything like that.
If this person is asking in terms from a perspective of a travel agent or advisor, you're just going to up your cost. This is an added service that you do. I'm sure that's what they already do. So I'm sure that's not what they're asking about. So as a travel coach, yeah, if that is what you help your people with, is the planning phase of a trip and helping them figure out what type of experiences and what type of destinations, and that's a service you offer, then yeah, of course you would charge for that.
Okay. So it's just being clear about what your services are and that there are fees. I mean, even travel advisors are charging for planning travel. It is their expertise and their time. So it seems only fair that a travel coach would as well.
Right.
I'm just looking through to see if there's any more questions, and feel free if anyone wants to ask, you can also talk.
I did see one that, yeah, I saw one. Someone said, I'm already, I can't find it, but they said,
yes.
I'm already accredited. What if I'm already, sorry, what if I am a coach already? Can I fast track to become a certified travel coach? Well, the Travel Coach Network is the only platform that certifies travel coaches. So you would still have to go through our program. And I can guarantee you would be learning a lot than what you did in any other coaching program. We are not a cookie cutter, just like any other coaching accreditation. We teach you not only the business aspect, well, of course, the fundamentals of coaching, but the business aspect, and also how to take your passion, your understanding, your beliefs in travel, and what you might not even understand or know what that might be yet, and who you want to serve, and apply that to your coaching business. So we provide so much more than just another coaching accreditation.
I know you can't say what someone's hourly or package rate might be, but could you give us a sense of scale in terms of if you were to do travel coaching full time, what might the income potential be versus part-time, or even some sense? Are we talking $10,000, 50,
No,
100?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you can check it out. So you guys can go to hireatravelcoach.com. That's our database of travel coaches, and you can take a look at the prices that they put on there. So you can openly see, or you can go to their websites and see what they charge. What I've heard and seen from those who are just travel coaches who don't do retreats or tours or travel agents or anything like that, if they were to run like a 2 or 3 week coaching program, it'd be like 1,500 to 2,000. It could be up from there too. If they hold hourly sessions, they can offer, or it would be like $100, $150 an hour. So again, it really varies, but these are just some of the prices that I've seen.
Okay, maybe we could put that website in the chat as well, so people can take a look at that.
Yeah, has a question who wants to talk about?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Diana.
Okay. Yes. Sorry. I apologize if I'm a little slow to the gate here. I'm still trying to understand, and bear with me. In another life, 1,000 years ago, I was a travel agent. So again, in another life, 1,000 years ago. But I'm trying to understand, I'm very fascinated by this concept, but I'm trying to understand in terms of compensation, and you're not booking the trip, what is the incentive for an individual to pay for both a travel coach and a travel agent who essentially does something similar, but then books the entire trip?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Well, first of all, the person may not be looking for someone to book the trip for them. So there are travel coaches who empower and inspire others to be able to know how they can plan and book their trips for themselves. So that could be an ideal client for a travel coach too. When it comes to, I think part of your question might be like who hires a travel coach. And who works with them. And there's a wide range. Some of the examples that I gave would be like those during a life transition. So thinking of those who are too scared to travel, or know that they're looking for an escape. They want to get away. They want to, go to the extremes maybe of like sell everything, and they just want a fresh start in life. Or they now they're retirees, and they want to be able to travel to more places than just taking one vacation or one grandiose trip that's going to cost them a lot. When it comes to the travel industry, because the primary role of having a travel business has always been the travel agent, advisor, whatnot, I'll just call it travel agent. You're conditioned to think of, I generate income by charging for bookings and making commissions, right? When it comes to travel coaching, because you're not booking trips, that's not by definition under TCN of what a travel coach does. You think about the world of like a life coach. They charge for their services. They have different offers and packages. But also with that, we teach you so many other ways that you can generate income as a travel coach, beyond just coaching sessions. For example, affiliate fees. So if there are insurance agencies that you do recommend, or maybe you partner with a travel agent and you get a part of commission off of the trip that they booked with your client that you sent their way, because you did the coaching aspect and then they did the booking aspect. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, in same thing like a retreat that you can do to structure your business and generate revenue that is beyond the traditional booking a trip and making a commission.
Thank you for that. Could you kindly repeat the name of that that company that shares their fees, just to help us newbies get an idea of costs?
Yeah, it's our company, it's our database. So I put it in the thing there. It's hireatravelcoach.com. So this is under the Travel Coach Network. When you are completed with your program and certified, or you can actually join it before being certified, so you see the badges. But once you feel like you're ready you want to put yourself out there and start getting clients, you can create your profile on this website. This is just an added opportunity that we provide our members with. And we get people who don't feel like they're ready, they create it and they start getting clients before they even know it.
Got it. Thank you.
Do you think it's important, Sahara, to find a niche to specialize in as a travel coach, be it solo travel or menopause or retreats or adventure? Or what's your advice to people, when they're thinking about starting this? Because you could be, I think one of the lessons we learned through marketing is try not to be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what's working well?
Yeah, so you're right. When you try to serve everyone, you end up serving no one. And that's something I hear in the travel industry of like, well, everyone loves to travel, I will just help everybody. But from a business standpoint, strategy wise, that's no strategy at all. Traditionally in the travel industry, talking about travel agents, it's about choosing a niche, right? What's the demographic? What's the age range? Is it luxury? Is it Disney? Is it cruises or whatnot? Even within that, that's very broad. There are individuals within those niches. So in what we teach in travel coaching is understanding who your ideal client is based off their pain points. So maybe it is busy professional women nearing burnout. That's a specific person, but it could be entrepreneurs, it could be CEOs, it could be busy moms, it could be a wide range of customers, but you are targeting their specific problems. And that's how we teach you to figure out what your niche, and that's why I say I don't like to say niche, but your area of expertise. It could be it goes back to, what do you believe in about travel? Is it that, travel is a powerful tool for helping you find yourself after loss again? Is it to be excited about life after divorce or heartbreak or a big life event? So if that's what you believe in, who can relate to that? And that's your ideal client. And that's kind of the niche that you would have.
Yeah, I think you have to be authentic to who you are to begin with, in order to do this.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you. I think
okay.
Tell me if this is right or wrong, because I think somebody was asking about this. Sahara, something that you just mentioned. So let's just say I travel to the Christmas markets. I've been a bazillion times. So maybe that's a niche for me. And then I could go to social media and go to those pages and see all the questions people are asking and maybe offer my services. Would that be a way to do a marketing lead, sort of like, using social media as a platform to get leads?
Okay, so you're talking about your niche being the Christmas markets?
I'm just using that as an example. Yes, right. And could you use like social media as a platform to get leads?
Social media could be a platform to get leads for anything.
Right.
The right social platforms, but it all depends on your messaging, your marketing. So if it's talking about Christmas markets, why should people visit a Christmas market? How's it going to make them feel? Who needs to visit one? What are they, who are they for? Those are the things you need to understand in order to then put yourself out on the right platforms and attract the right clients.
Got it. Right. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So less about the destination and more about the need of the woman.
Right. The experience.
Right.
So I'd like to follow up on that. So I go to Provence for about 3 or 4 months every year. I know it so well. Tons of my friends, and they send their friends to come ask me all the questions about Provence. And I find out what their intentions are, because I could send them to photography, or I could send them to, so many different small, unique, women-only programs. And they love that because I know all these women in the programs they run. So I don't know that I'd be as powerful if I didn't know the back end, like where to recommend they go. I can understand their needs. They're solo, they're a little anxious, they'd like to try something new, creative, they don't know exactly where, and I could tailor it totally and get it. But don't you need to know the back end, or do you actually suggest a final destination for them or a trip? I'm curious about that.
Are you referring still to the Christmas markets?
The
Sorry?
Provence. She's talking about Provence.
So I know Provence
Provence.
really well. Like I said,
Okay.
I've been there 4 months every year. I really know it well. And I was trying to get to understand from you, am I just really getting all the intentions from someone and then helping them get crystal clear on what they need for the ideal trip, or match them finally with where to go to achieve it? So I didn't know if you're coupling it with an actual recommendation.
Yeah, that's completely up to you. Like I said, you can structure your business however you want. Every coach does something different. If you help people just realize why they want to travel and what kind of experience they're looking for, and point them in the direction of the right resources for them to do their own research and book their own trips and choose their own destination, by you telling them maybe you need to choose a place where there's not so touristy and you can go off the beaten path, and there's like a rich culture there, and you can be challenged and get out of your comfort zone from day to day, depending on if that's what they are in need of. Maybe it's some soul searching and they have a beautiful beach and they can relax. So again, it's up to you of what do you want to do in your business and how do you want to help people. Some people will help through the whole travel planning phase, and some people may not.
And I'm just curious, what do you find most of your travel agents do? Maybe the more successful travel coaches, are they offering that match, or are they just doing the front end of helping you get crystal clear of what will be the most satisfying experience?
What I find is that they offer some suggestions. So they give a handful of suggestions, but I mean, we have a travel coach who combines astrocartography into how she helps her clients choose where to go. So it's super interesting, but that's what she does, and she's a very successful travel coach.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like this is a place where you can be kind of creative and innovative and kind of create your own job, if you will, without, fear of boundaries, or, it's just, as long as you're not getting into the booking, it can be whatever you want it to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, the booking, if you're going to book trips, that's a whole different training and credentials and everything that you need to do, platforms, access, and everything to be able to do. But just like any coaching business, whether you're a wellness coach, a life coach, you structure it how you want. With my wellness, for example, with my wellness travel coaching business, I didn't want to work with individuals, so I didn't. I cared about corporations and their lack of concern or lack of interest in empowering their employees to take their vacations and use their vacations effectively. And when it came to business travel, why travel managers were not caring about the well-being of their travelers beyond talking about gyms, drinking more water, and yoga and wellness centers. And so I got paid to travel around, to stand on stage and talk about the various holistic wellness benefits of travel that I did research on, that I believed in, and gave examples of what their business travelers could do. And that's how I got paid and how I grew my wellness travel coaching business, because it's what I wanted to do for my business. And then I created digital products for the travel managers to learn how they can best work and understand their travelers. So again, you can structure your business however you want, as long as it takes awareness and research to figure out, what do you want to do? What do you care about? What are the options? And how do I structure that into a business?
Yeah. I want to talk about, we have a special offer for anyone on this webinar, anyone that signed up for it, anyone at JourneyWoman with your certification program. Could you explain a little how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, our certification program is typically $1,397 US. We are running a fall sale right now for $697 US. There is a payment plan option as well. So it is a great opportunity to get in once you are seeing this webinar here. Also because later tonight, we're going to be implementing, and this is something that we have not done yet, and this is something that any accreditation or certification program does already do. I'm a corporate wellness specialist. I get charged an annual fee to keep my accreditation, and we have not done that to our members until now. We're going to be charging an annual low fee of $50 a year. So if you want to be able to get in and not have to pay that, you're going to want to get in before midnight EST tonight and enroll in the program. The good thing about if you're like, well, Sahara, I'm not ready to start right now, but I do want to take advantage of this opportunity, this price, do it. Because like I said, it is self-paced. There's no start and end date. Once you enroll, you can access it anytime you want, and you can get started whenever you want. We have people who join because it was a great sale, and then a year later, they're like, I'm finally starting, I finished this and I'm ready to go. So it's completely up to you when you want to do that, but I would definitely recommend that you guys get in before midnight EST tonight if you want to avoid that annual fee. Someone says, what's the deadline for the fall sale? The end of September.
And we have a code, I think, for JourneyWoman that people can use. So I just put that in the chat so you can get the full discount.
Yes. Please do let me know that you came through JourneyWoman.
And the other thing, somebody asked about marketing. So the other thing that we are doing at JourneyWoman, as some of you may know, we host a women's travel directory, which has curated trips. So everything from no single supplement to trips under $3,000 to small ships and trains and women only trips and retreats. And so we are going to be adding in the next couple of weeks a travel coach section to that website, where we will offer anyone who's been through Sahara's program a place to advertise and market. And then we will support anyone who is a part of that with marketing activities through JourneyWoman as well, because we want to help you get started. And we know that we have a big audience here at JourneyWoman, over 55,000 women on our mailing list that will be interested in meeting you. So we want to make sure that we're creating a space for you as well, just to help you get started. And Sahara does also have this on her website, but we thought we'd do something special just to help all of you get started and provide you with a place to share your story. So anyways, we'll be announcing that.
Yeah, that's great. So they are quite different solely because one, this is an opportunity for you to showcase your profiles in two different places on two big platforms. And two, we don't offer the type of support that JourneyWoman would be offering you on their platform. We offer monthly live trainings, and we have community support and some business advice. But when it comes to what Carolyn's going to be launching, it's completely different. So that is a great opportunity. But like she said, you'd have to be certified through the TCN first to do that. I did forget to mention, if you do pay in full, you do get a private 45-minute business coaching session with me that you can book anytime. You don't have to do that right away. Some people like to do it at the beginning. Some people, I'd say, do a couple modules first to get your a little bit of ideas of what you want to do and talk about. Some people do it at the beginning or the middle. Some people do it right before they complete the program as well. And I did want to answer this question. Someone said, how do you distinguish an accredited coach versus someone who says they're just a travel coach? Look for our certification logo on their website and their social media. That's the only way we can say that.
Yeah, and we won't be putting anyone on our website who isn't certified. So that'll be another place that you can look, and because I think it is important to be certified. And of course, we have JourneyWoman verified on a lot of the tour partners we already have on the site, and we think it's important to vet companies and make sure that that everything is safe for you as travelers. And I just want to, there's another really good question here at the end I just want to close on that talks about the barriers to women to travel. What are you seeing right now in your travel coaching business? What is stopping women from getting out there?
I think it goes back to the traditional misconceptions that travel is one, not safe, two, that you're going to be lonely if you travel, that three, it's too late to travel, and then also that travel's too expensive. And that's what a lot of our travel coaches help people break through and overcome those limiting beliefs, and that you can travel at any age. You can incorporate travel into your life and lifestyle to whatever degree you desire. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think it hasn't changed since when I was a backpacker, and the things that people would say to me all the time too.
Yeah. Do you see more older women looking for coaches or younger women? Is there any difference in age?
No, because our travel coaches have such diverse niches. Like, we have travel coaches who work with remote workers, and that could be a younger demographic. We have travel coaches who help people who move abroad, and that could be a younger demographic. We have those who focus on women 50 plus. We have those who are empty nesters, so they're probably of a certain age as well, retirees. So there's so many different demographics and of women, not only women too. We do have men. We just have mostly women travel coaches that they work with as well. And someone does say, did other than private session with me, are there other opportunities to speak with me directly or within the group? Absolutely. We hold a monthly live group coaching session. We actually have one coming up this Wednesday for August. And then we do TCN meetups virtually every month. We have a private Facebook group, which I am very active in. So anytime that you get an opportunity on a call or anything in a group setting with me, we always open it up for you to ask questions with whatever you need.
A few other questions in there. Do you want to answer any? I know we're coming to the end of our time here. Disabilities? I think that's a great question, actually.
What is that one? Older women who have women who have disabilities are fearful. Is there specialists who help understand the ease of travel? I just found out about airport greeters. Like to know other options of ease of travel. We do have, from a travel coaching standpoint, we have travel coaches who work with people who are blind travel, because that's their experience and what they do. We do have those who focus in elderly travel, and people with disabilities of all sorts. And they work on mindset and resources and know-how and tools and everything like that. I mean, there's so many different options out there on where the direction you can point them in and how you can help them.
Yeah, great. Well, I think this has been a great start, and we may have more conversations on this. So I want to thank Sahara and everyone for coming tonight, just to dip our toes into the world of travel coaching. If you have more questions, Sahara will put her email in the chat if you want to reach out to her, or you can send them to me, and we'll get you some answers. And I just want to mention we have 2 more webinars this month, oddly both on India. Our book club is Wednesday night, and that is a book called The Widows of Malabar Hill, which is set in 1920s Bombay. And then we have another session next week where we'll be talking about places to go in India and Asia, just as some inspiration. So hope you can join us on those 2 webinars if you have time. I think they're both, one is in the evening, one is in the afternoon. So anyways, thank you all for being here, and thank you for all the great questions.
Yeah, thank you guys.